Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and the power of charisma for dungeon masters to keep players at their table, and how understanding what's happening at our table, why people show up, why they continue to show up, and what is their motivation to be at the table is incredibly complicated. And I want to encourage you to think more, right? And I also want to encourage you to think about who you are, what you are, and how you impact your table. All right, so let's get into this. All right, so basically, I have started living on HBO Max. I just watch a ton of material on HBO Max, and there's this one show on HBO Max that I'm watching right now, and I guarantee you haven't seen it. I'll be shocked if one single person watching this has seen this show, right? And it's called Someone Somewhere, and it is a half an hour. It looks like a situation comedy. It is not even remotely a situation comedy. It is a sharo, right? Now, what is a sharo? Scott Garibay term. It is a specific type of show that brings sorrow for entertainment, right? They are incredibly rare, but they are becoming more common. The prototypical sharo show is This Is Us. That show was just like, we're going to make you sad. You're going to cry a lot. That's literally why you're coming to the show. This is a show about sorrow. Show about sorrow, sharo, right? And you get them nowadays. I think one of the reasons why you get them is I think the vast majority of people in Hollywood are desperately sad, right? And they're also incredibly narcissistic, right? They're also incredibly interesting. That's why I watch their shows, right? Like, I'm an evangelical Christian. A lot of evangelical Christian, having a conversation with an evangelical Christian is bog standard boring. You know why? The answer's always the same. Hey, what do you think you should do about X? Well, whatever Jesus would have done. like you always need, you're going to know an evangelical Christian's position on almost any question you ask, right? Because it's coming straight from the Bible, right? There isn't but with Hollywood, you get a lot of crazy nonsense, right? Like, and it is interesting and entertaining, right? Like, and I wish I was more interesting and entertaining, but you know what? I'll pay this price to get eternal life, right? So basically, so I think there's a ton of writers who are sad and are narcissistic. So they literally write shows about being sad, and so here's the thing. I'm watching this sharo, okay? This sharo show, Someone Somewhere, it has 2 things I like, right? And like 25 things I hate, right? So first of all, I don't like sharos. I didn't finish This Is Us. I watched half of season 1, and it's like, I don't want to be sad every week. Why am I watching this, right? So I jetted, right? And generally, anytime I start a sharo, I quit it, right? But I am watching this sharo, and I am not stopping. And I'm about to tell you why, because that has to do with the power of a dungeon master, okay? All right, so let's get all the way here on this. Okay, so this show is about it takes place in the Midwest of the United States of America. Love that, because so few shows do. Like, how many shows aren't like in New York or on the East Coast or the left coast, right? It's almost a constant, right? Like, so, so I love seeing that this show takes place in the Midwest of the United States in I'm not saying this derogatively, I'm just saying it to get you to understand quickly, in a flyover state, like, period. Like, it happens in a flyover state, right? And I don't even know what state it is. I just know it's the Midwest, and like, they're like, hey, this isn't the left coast or the this isn't the left coast or the right coast. This is the middle of the United States of America, which virtually no shows are ever based in, right? So I'm like, oh, hey, that's very interesting. I'm very excited to see that. Yeah, I bet. Okay, I'm in. All right, let's do this, right? So, but the other reason I'm watching this show is one reason. In fact, I'll tell you right now, a show in the Midwest, that's enough. There's so many good shows on, I would skip it for that, right? There's one reason I'm watching this, and her name is Bridget Everett. She is the actress who plays the main character in the show, okay? And in the show, I kid you not, she plays a do-nothing, highly unengaged employee, right, who doesn't have friends and stays to herself and is just kind of schlubby, right? Just like a real forgettable person, right? And she's sad because her sister, and to make things worse, even better, like to make things worse, She's sad because her sister recently died. What the heck? Like this, like you could how this got on television, I have no idea, right? Like it is just terrible from 50 different perspectives. The one thing that they do to make it interesting is she wants to just sit in her room, do nothing, and be sad, right? But she has this friend at work, and he is very exuberant and jubilant, right? And he has this thing at a church called choir practice. Very interesting, right? Now, choir practice is a bunch of non-church people going to a church and using their facilities to practice choir, right? And they call it choir practice. But the character who is bringing Bridget Everett's character into this choir practice to get her to sing and have fun and get friends and have a better life, he has some secret, and he's tricking the church. And he feels really bad because the church is generally is trusting him and is extending trust to him, and he is betraying that trust. We don't know what it is. Oh, by the way, I'm terribly sorry. Spoilers for this show. Nobody's watching. We're like, okay, I'm going to continue going forward here. Spoilers for someone somewhere. Sorry, I didn't say that earlier. All right, so he's lying to the church, right? But we don't know what lie he's holding yet, right? Which I'm kind of like, boy, like this show is just filled with sadness. So this show is absolutely bog standard terrible. It has every reason not to watch it, but I watch it for one reason. Bridget Everett is a powerhouse actress, okay? She is brilliant. She is funny. She is forceful. She is just like a really dramatically amazing actress, and every role she's in is really powerful, right? So I am there for the Midwest thing I said that was one of the reasons. It wouldn't be enough to keep me. I watched the show for no other reason than Bridget Everett, right? She is brilliant. She chose this show, and this is important to her, and she's such a powerful actress. She has so much charisma, so much magnetism, right, that I will watch anything and everything she's in. She's fantastic, right? And that's the key. Here's where we land. You don't know why your players are at your table. This is the biggest problem in all of Dungeons & Dragons today, okay? There's this immense amount of terrible, terrible advice that gets spouted nonstop, right? Which is, if you're having fun, you're doing it right. Guess what? You don't know if the people at your table are having fun. People stay at Dungeons & Dragons, people stay in the seat in a Dungeons & Dragons game for literally 1,000 different reasons. And you think you know why. You think you know why. You don't, right? People are amazingly complex, right? Every person is amazingly complex, right? Sly Flourish, brilliant dungeon master, right? He's been running with one guy for 15, easily 5-10 years, right? This dude, Sly Flourish had to call his mom recently because he died. The player died, right? And so Sly Flourish had this big, long conversation with his mom, and he learned things when he talked to the mom that he didn't know, right? And the reality is, this person shows up at your table, they play an elf, they play a human, they play a dwarf, right? And things happen, but the reality is, people have an internal sphere, right? And while you think that, and while you really think that you know why everything is going the way it is, you really don't, right? Like, you don't really have any idea why the people at your table are at your table. They could be there for another player. They could be there because they detest they detest the just sheer number of crap video games that get made, the crap shows that get made, the crap books that get made. Increasingly, it's hard to find good content today. There's tons of it out there, but it's harder to find because there is just a mountain of bad information and bad material that is out there, and they could say, hey, you know what? There's a person over here. They're going to specially craft, like, it's a custom story just for me, right? And I'm going to share it with a few other people. But where else can you get a custom crafted story, right? And then here's the kicker: dungeon masters are publicly speaking, and this is big. If you don't know this, people are absolutely terrified of public speaking. It is an absolute constant. It does not change. I am shocked every time I see it because I have absolutely no fear of public speaking, right? But it is incredibly likely that everyone you know, right, that the vast majority of people that you know really, really are horribly frightened and afraid to publicly speak. And dungeon mastering is public speaking. Now, the public is only 4 people, but those 4 people are going to tell other people. It's 4 people at the first level, but if you get it right, they're going to tell more people. And if you get it wrong, they're going to tell more people. So they understand, right, that the reality is they very much understand that, that it's important that, they very much understand that, what's the best way to say this? They understand, so your players really are very dialed in and very aware that what happens in your game is specially crafted for them. And the reality is, I don't think they say this to themselves, but I think they know it. And here's what they know. They know that in order to be a dungeon master, you have to be intelligent, right? You had to read 750 pages, right? Not a lot of people willing to do that anymore for anything. You know what happens when you start to read something with 750 pages? You're in the realm of a degree. Few people read 750 pages to learn how to do anything that isn't connected directly to their profession, right? So that's part of it. And I think they understand that once they get attached to you, right, you are going to be intelligent, charismatic, and confident. And those people are incredibly rare, and they're going to get time with you for free, right? And guess what? Today, getting time with somebody who is incredibly charismatic, confident, and intelligent for nothing is incredibly rare. There's a good chance that you are the Bridget Everett to the people on your table, right? And that they're not there to have fun. They're not there for a million other reasons you think they're there for, right? And no one's ever going to say to you, "You're my Bridget Everett," right? They're just going to do it. And I've never said that to Bridget. I've never gone on Bridget Everett's Twitter and said, "Oh, you're one of my favorite actresses," right? And the reason why is there's a whole host of reasons why, right? But the reality is, it's a very good chance you are someone's Bridget Everett, right? They could be at the table for no other reason than you, right? And I don't think we talk about this, right? We don't really talk about, there's this big reality that, if you are a dungeon master, 9 chances out of 10, you are charismatic, intelligent, and confident. And Gary Gygax built a structure to allow regular humans to spend time with super intelligent, charismatic, and confident people for nothing. And that breaks the model of everything else that happens in this world, right? And that's what I keep saying, right? Gary Gygax broke the world in half. You guys don't see it yet. I do, right? And I'm hoping to get you there, right? So what do you think? Do you think you're somebody's Bridget Everett? Why or why not? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.